It turns out, actually, I just wanted to say, I have two quotations that I wanted you to focus on. They're in the packet. I probably should have put them on the PowerPoint, but I didn't. So just know they're near the back. So now for something completely different. Philosophers actually are usually quite funny. I'm not going to be, unlike Jerry. And I'm going to read this because it's the only way to stay within my time. When progressives argue for higher taxes on the rich, there are two kinds of response that are offered. First, that higher taxes on anybody, including the wealthiest, is inefficient and undermines economic growth. Second, that taxes are inherently confiscatory. That is, they appropriate for the public what properly belongs to the individual, and so must always be kept to an absolute minimum. In this presentation, I want to focus on the second objection, that taxation involves taking away what is rightfully the individual's. This objection to increased taxation on the wealthy stems from a view that, following Murphy and Nagel, who I'm going to quote below, I'll call everyday libertarianism. This is a doctrine about the moral foundations of private property that has always been prevalent in our country, in our society, but is even stronger under the neoliberal ideology that reigns in the mainstream today. On this view, one's ownership of goods is grounded in a natural right, independent of the legal system or social conventions, and a right that constrains what society may do with one's property. In the same way, say, that one's right to bodily integrity surely is a natural right, and that does constrain what society may do to you. On such a view, one has a socially transcendent moral claim to one's pre-tax income. And this presents a strong moral obstacle to any proposal to increase taxation for the social good. Now, a contrary position, the one I want to endorse, is defended at length by Thomas Nagel and Liam Murphy, and this is the first quote. This is how they put their position. If there is a dominant theme that runs through our discussion, it is this: private property is a legal convention, defined in part by the tax system. Therefore, the tax system cannot be evaluated by looking at its impact on private property, conceived as something that has independent existence and validity. Taxes must be evaluated as part of the overall system of property rights that they help to create. Justice or injustice in taxation can only mean justice or injustice in the system of property rights and entitlements that result from a particular tax regime. So let me call this the social construct position on private property. As Murphy and Nagel see it, the everyday libertarian view of ownership as an individualistic natural right is wrong-headed. It's a myth. That's why that's the title of their book. It's not that an institution of private ownership is inherently wrong. Rather, it's that the extent and determination of private ownership is a matter of social institutions. And we judge social institutions more holistically with regard to the degree to which they promote the welfare and the genuine natural rights of their citizens. Since taxation is an essential element for the existence of these institutions, taxation cannot be seen as a legal form of theft, which is the way it is often described by everyday libertarians. Rather, what belongs to the individual is just what a just scheme of allocation would allot to her. In other words, one's just claim to one's property really only covers post-tax income. A crucial component of the case for this view is in the following passage from John Rawls, and that's the second quote. He says, "The intuitive idea is that since everyone's well-being depends upon a scheme of cooperation without which no one could have a satisfactory life, the division of advantages should be such as to draw forth the willing cooperation of everyone taking part in it, including those less well off. Those better endowed or more fortunate in their social position cannot be said to deserve these advantages." He's making 2 points here. First, that everything one accomplishes, produces, and possesses is, in a society with extensive division of labor, the joint product of literally millions, if not billions, of people. Second, that most of the factors that result in measurably different contributions to that social product on the part of individuals are best regarded, as he puts it elsewhere, as arbitrary from a moral point of view. That is, they're not factors that can ground any claim of deserving a differential share of that product. So in the face of these two considerations, the natural position to adopt is the one that Murphy and Nagel, along with Rawls, adopt, namely, that no one has any legitimate claim on any part of the social pie independently of a fair distribution scheme. the establishment of which necessitates a tax regime to support it. So again, one's rightful share is determined by one's post-tax income according to a fair scheme of taxation. Once we view the situation in this light, much of the anti-tax rhetoric can be seen to be grounded, as Murphy and Nagel put it, on a myth. Thank you.